Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Smackdown review with us, none other than your boys, the British Fist.
Gotcha.
You can subscribe above, you can like this video, and you can comment your thoughts on this edition of Smackdown down in that comment section below.
And make sure you contact us in the links in the video box below.
And in case you didn't already know, and if you don't, then I don't know how you don't know, you've been under a rock for the last two years or so. I am Mr. Parkin, and this guy sitting next to me about to do a very, very entertaining gimmick for you guys is none other than NJ.
What's up?
What's up indeed. Now, you may have been noticing a couple of strange videos on our channel lately. We've had some of these really weird videos on our channel, and we said we were going to get to the bottom of this, and I tell you what, we'll just roll the footage for you. So this video that you just seen that was there, you know, we've been trying to get to the bottom of it, me and NJ, and we've been searching YouTube and been trying to do a bit of research on this. We found this channel, this like mysterious, strange channel, don't really know what it is, that is showcasing so far 2 of the promos that have had in our Raw review. It's very strange. We'll link the video into the description box below that we found of the actual promo itself that has been airing on our videos, but this is really weird, isn't it?
It's definitely very mysterious, and the fact that this channel is describing one date in particular leaves us wondering what is it going to build up to, what's going to happen, and what this is all about.
You know something about this, don't you? We got this message a couple of weeks ago. The promo segments, it's all leading to something on 9/16/12. Really don't know what's going to happen, but I guess we'll find out on the day it happens. So yeah, so you can go check out the video we're talking about in the description box below. You make what you want of it, guys. I don't know what to make of it. But we'll just get on to this Smackdown review. We opened up the show with none other than Sheamus, the World Heavyweight Champion. And the first thing he does is acknowledge Triple H. Why?
I think as we had the whole big thing happen on Raw, I guess a follow-up on SmackDown with the top dog on SmackDown at this moment in time was just their way of just saying he's done his big thing on Raw, it's still happening on SmackDown, so in that case it was okay. And it weren't that long, so...
But shouldn't he be talking about maybe his, I don't know, World Heavyweight Championship feud of Alberto Del Rio that's coming up at Night of Champions? I don't know, I'm just saying. You then have Damien Sandow coming out, and I was like, man, Damien Sandow in the opening segment. This is gold. Talking about how those degenerates, the Triple H-led D-Generation X, attacked him at the Raw 1000 and how Sheamus is an unworthy opponent. Good black work there.
Shouldn't he be talking about Clay? Because obviously he's coming up bashing about Sheamus or D-Generation X or Triple H. And he's got a feud with Clay, so they're both doing the bad thing.
True. It's like combining the 2 people that are in feuds, you know, whatever. You then get Booker T coming out, making a match between Sheamus and Damien Sandow. Like we didn't expect that, Booker T. You're kind of inheriting a couple of Teddy Long's characteristics there. And you can tell Triple H likes both of these guys, can't you? He's very high on Sandow right now, and we all know how high he is on Sheamus. You can tell they're both in the opening on SmackDown, and they're trying to give Damien Sandow some kind of rub against the World Heavyweight Champion.
The way they did this, yes, it was predictable. We knew what was coming, but they had to do that in a way just so they could have their match set up. They can announce what's coming later in the night instead of doing it pre-event like last week. But we got this, and yes, they're very high on Sheamus, but the way they're booking Sheamus is a bit too heavy compared to Sandow. Because with Sandow, as we find out in feuds past matches and tonight, his booking is good, but it's not like, oh, he's unstoppable.
No, but I guess you can't really do that with a guy like Sandow. But whereas a guy like Sheamus, they're trying to book as a real big babyface champion that is unstoppable like a Ryback. So this segment did what it did. It's just very reminiscent of SmackDown openers past for the last year now, really, isn't it? With the GM coming out and the 2 main guys. I don't know, just saying, can we not change it up a little bit in the opening segments? Especially when you already have a main event set, I'm just saying. After the opening segment, then, we get Rey Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes. My God. Once a great WrestleMania feud, now after the opener on a SmackDown. And it's quite funny here, actually, that Rey Mysterio is playing, storyline continuance for Sin Cara, really, isn't it? You'd think that WWE would have maybe a little bit more stock in Rey Mysterio right now rather than a Sin Cara that's not really exactly getting over fantastically right now.
Well, the fact they have Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio as friends of some sort, and then helping each other out in some way, and obviously it combined this feud with Cody Rhodes. I thought it was nicely done as this match showed, so I didn't have much problem with this.
The match did make logical sense. They're kind of recycling this whole Rey Mysterio and Cody Rhodes storyline now with Sin Cara instead of Rey Mysterio, with all the stuff about the mask and the ugliness. It's pretty much a recycled storyline from that fantastic storyline that they had at WrestleMania. Other than Sin Cara is no Rey Mysterio yet. Rey Mysterio wins the match with a roll-up. Are we really surprised that Cody Rhodes is doing a job here, really?
Not at all, but this match, I'd say, it's pretty good. I expected this because they've feuded before, and when Rey Mysterio is in the match, like you've seen with Punk or other wrestlers, it is a pretty good match. Yeah, Cody Rhodes at the pin again, but I thought it was a good match. It's just the ending was a bit shame for Cody Rhodes, but it's all adding up to the Sin Cara feud.
It was essentially a roller victory. It's quite important to note here that Rey Mysterio pinpointed Cody Rhodes as a WrestleMania feud. And it's quite interesting to see that after all that steam that Cody Rhodes got, he's now feuding with Sin Cara. It just, I really wish they'd have capitalized on the Cody Rhodes momentum while they really could.
As much as I think that Cody Rhodes definitely deserves the push after his IC run and all this, as I said before, and I'm going to keep saying this, he's came out of push now, he's lost his IC belt, but now he does all these other things coming into the WWE, and he's just kind of clashing, like thinking, we can't push Cody yet because then that's going to delay Barrett, that's going to delay this, delay that. So in a way, it came at a bad time, so maybe he should either stay in the Intercontinental title picture for a while longer, but in that case, that's why we're left with Cody how he is now.
And that's sometimes what timing can do to a guy. A lot of wrestlers over the years have been on a great push, but timing just hasn't been right. After the match, you have Cody Rhodes putting down the business on Rey Mysterio. Out comes Sin Cara to save Rey Mysterio, and then Sin Cara puts the mask on Cody Rhodes, and it's like the Lucha Libres are teaming up once again.
And now Cody Rhodes is the ugly one.
Yeah, because he has a Sin Cara mask on, which is fucking ugly. But there we go. A decent segment, really.
Pretty
just
good,
for a feud which I maybe don't care about too much, but I can see probably why they're doing it to try and get Sin Cara over a little bit. Caitlyn versus Natalya. You wouldn't really have known this match if you were listening to the commentary, because you even had Michael Cole saying, "Oh, we're not focusing enough on the match. Let's get back on the match." I fucking hate it when they do this. They have a Divas match in the ring, and Michael Cole and Eve Torres are just chatting away about other shit.
And it's really a shame that even though Eve's not relevant now because Laurinaitis is gone, she still get into the pitch, trying to make a TV appearance, involvement in the Divas title picture. It kind of made the match a bit, why are we not concentrating on the match more than commentary? But overall, the match is what I wanted to see. Natalya wrestling again, Caitlyn getting a wrestling match against a higher up diva. Pretty good.
Caitlyn gets the win. She is the number one contender. That makes logical booking sense. But I guess my question is, do we really care about Caitlyn? Not just that, but do we really care about Caitlyn versus Layla? I mean, really, do you actually care?
Well, I care for Layla because I was expecting more from her since her return, but their booking for the Divas thing didn't really change after the Beth Phoenix feud. So right now, Caitlyn's just another opponent. I just hopefully they have Layla go up against someone else pretty higher up afterwards.
Yeah, maybe. Although options are very limited in the Divas division right now, I'll just say that. Just want to touch quickly on the recaps that we had. We had the recap of the Punk Lawler thing on Raw, and I think it's interesting to note here that Punk actually did a blade job, which you're not allowed to do under PG rules, and it's quite funny to think that he's a higher up when he's getting away with stuff like that, because let's say an Abraham Washington did that, he would have been fired straight away, wouldn't he?
And that's the thing, because they did show the replay on the Raw replays, like when CM Punk bladed King. Yeah, you see, we've done a repeat there, like SmackDown's just doing tonight. Yeah, it's just terrible.
And they kept showing those anger management segments. They were nice on Raw, but on SmackDown, not really. I'd rather not see those segments again unless they're going to do something different on SmackDown specifically for the Daniel Bryan Kane feud.
Yeah, it's the case, because when we get to it later, they could have used this in a way to hype up something to do with Bryan and Kane, but sadly we didn't get that. And
did we really need to see Triple H's promo again on SmackDown? Really? I'm just saying. We'll move on to the rest of the show now. We got all the filler out of the way. Damien Sandow versus Sheamus was our main event. I guess Orton and Ziggler was already announced as the main event, so they thought, let's put this in the probably the third best spot. Damien Sandow versus Sheamus, NJ, your thoughts?
Well, for Sheamus not to be in the main event of SmackDown, they gave it to Del Rio. Like I've said before, with Del Rio not being our champion, yes, it's given the number contender some importance, but I really thought Sheamus was going there. But with there being Damien in this match, it makes sense. And Damien, I was surprised that he actually got quite some offence on Sheamus. Yeah, it weren't enough, but you don't really expect that, because we all knew Sheamus was going to get somehow the win in this match.
And considering Damien Sandow only just came onto the roster in April, essentially, and he's now being put in a spot against Sheamus, he was actually booked not that badly. He did come on top a lot of the time. I expected Sheamus to be totally dominant, but I found it interesting how Sandow was using his intellect and he kept rolling out the ring, and eventually it gets to the point where he's like, nah, I ain't doing no job, fuck this, and he runs away from Sheamus. I found that funny.
In a way, the running away from a main event, you could say made him look bad, but at the same time he's going to get someone else more higher up than him, and he was at a point where I can't beat Sheamus at this moment in time, so I'm going to go. It made sense, but I'm hoping, as we see, because Triple H is high on him, we do get to see him get gradually pushed up after, hopefully, a mid-card belt run.
Indeed, and I think a mid-card belt run could do very well for a guy like Damien Sandow. And with Triple H behind you, you know you're going to go into high places in WWE. And apparently, he is like Damien Sandow for quite some time. And I can see exactly why. He's something very unique in the WWE that I find very entertaining. I just wonder where Del Rio was in this segment, though. He's supposed to be having a feud with Sheamus. Maybe you could have had him in this segment somewhere. I'm just saying.
Well, we've still got a few more weeks till Night of Champions, so hopefully they can work on it like the go. I'm sure the week before, whatever they're going to do. But the weeks beyond up to you, definitely need to use Del Rio against Sheamus in some way as much as you can.
WWE showed they had a kind of resemblance of a tag team division last week, and they gave us 2 of those tag teams in a random match this week. Primetime Players versus Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel. I must admit, it's nice to see some tag team action on Smackdown, but they got no entrances, and the Primetime Players get the victory. And when you have no entrances, you know that it makes you look like the WWE do not really care about you, and that is my problem with this. Yes, it was a semi-decent tag match. You had the Usos and Epico and Primo saying why they felt they should be the number 1 contenders via tout and Twitter, but no entrances. That's like the first thing you need to really get to acknowledge yourself with those characters, and you don't even see them.
And that's the thing, because when it got to the match after the no entrance and that, I can't say this match was anything spectacular, but again, it is still a tag team match, still building up towards something. Primetime Players win. Like, I wasn't thinking celebrating, yay, because they've already had 2 shots at the title and they lost. This time round, it may be 3 times lucky, but I really don't care.
I really think having some kind of 4-way match maybe would have been quite an interesting little concept to use on a pay-per-view with regards to the tag team titles. What they're going to do with it, we don't really know. Apparently, Eve Torres is going to assess the tag teams on win-loss ratios or something like that. I don't really know, but I guess we'll find out in the coming weeks. It seems like tag team wrestling is a kind of staple on SmackDown now, at least in some sense. After that, we had Josh Matthews interviewing Alberto Del Rio. And Josh Matthews, in this segment, I found it quite funny, said what we've been thinking for quite some time. How come Sheamus has bested you in every match? Why does that mean you should be in the World Heavyweight Championship picture? I mean, that's what he said. That's exactly what we've been thinking now for the last couple of months, why this whole feud has been going.
I like the idea they had a face talking to him, but when it comes to interviews, especially big important ones like this with main events, you think Cole. But the way they did this is that Del Rio eventually thought, after what Kane did to you, throwed you around like trash, nothing compared to what I'm about to do to you. And this was the point that after everything that Josh Matthews had said to get under Del Rio in a way, it got to the moment when Kane came.
Yes, and out comes Kane, and he basically, I'll say this, NJ, I'm really sorry for what I did. I let my anger get the better of me, and I'm just really, really sorry for what I did, and I hope you can forgive me for it. There, I said it.
And the thing is just that the anger management, they try and blend it in as much as they can during their wrestling, their promos, and it really started to tease that maybe Kane is still a face, which I really don't like.
Yes.
But obviously, out comes the match. Booker T makes the match between
Teddy Long. He went back to old days, didn't he? Teddy Long, I'm coming out making this mid-card match, brother.
Yes, Theodore Long made the match.
Yeah, I don't know why, but we get to Kane Del Rio either way. Kind of seemed like a, I guess, pointless match, really, up until the part when Kane attacked Josh Matthews again, saying, I'm sorry, Josh, I'm sorry. I can't control my anger, Josh. I can't do it.
And even though Kane apologised and weren't really what I wanted to hear from him, the fact that he still went on and did what I wanted to see, which was just don't care for a thing, take down Josh Matthews, very nicely done. Gave me my point of this whole segment, very nicely done.
And I guess it gave Del Rio a victory as well with the help of Ricardo Rodriguez. So there we go.
A bit of a weak way of winning. Like, he did the backstabber thing. I just thought, what a weak way to beat Kane, but it's still a win.
Especially on Kane as well. who sometimes had 3 or 4 chokeslams and 2 tombstones. Couldn't keep him down, but there we go. This is the new Kane that does jobs. Randy Orton versus Dolph Ziggler was our main event of the evening, NJ. And to me, I was going into this match thinking, this represents something for me. A guy like Dolph Ziggler, who's been booked like shit for most of his time in the WWE, is now kind of on the rise. He's been put in a program against Jericho. It looked like they were going to put him in a program with Randy Orton. And this is a real representation to me of how much he'd actually moved up the card. And by golly, did I get a very big shock when I found out that really Dolph Ziggler hasn't moved up the card because he lost clean to Randy Orton in 7.5 freaking minutes. Not to mention the fact, aren't they supposed to be having a feud? If so, why the fuck even carry on with it now?
The 2 sad things I found about this is, number 1, for 1 week, out of the whole of their time together, Vickie did, like, there's 1 week when she actually did something and helped to win a match, but she did nothing in this, when she could have given us a match between Orton and Ziggler, again, possible feud, but instead, why have a feud now when Orton's just done what he shouldn't have done tonight?
And why have Orton pin the Money in the Bank winner clean? I'm just sorry, that's not the way you book a guy like Dolph Ziggler. And you make an interesting point there about Vickie Guerrero. She really didn't do anything in this match, and I think this poses the question for me. Okay, rumours are circulating that maybe they're going to bring in Ric Flair to manage Dolph Ziggler, and he did the whole Ric Flair strut thing. Now, do you think Ziggler would be better off without a manager and getting his own heat, or do you think a guy like Ric Flair could really make Dolph Ziggler into a star, possibly because they might be able to get more people to care about him? I'm just putting that out there. It has been rumoured.
Straight away, my answer is I think they should come to a storyline. Let's say at their next match or something, been a match, Vickie screws a match accidentally for Ziggler. Ziggler dumps her, gets rid of her, and then he goes off doing a frustration run and actually starts winning matches. I don't think he should have a manager. I just think he should drop Vickie now, because at the point where I thought, when he comes to champion, drop Vickie, but the fact that Vickie's doing nothing, even that one-off week that I said, I just think he should go off on his own.
I think Flair could be a good manager for Dolph Ziggler just because of the name power, and he usually basically makes people care about guys. And let's face it, I'm not sure how many people, unless you're on the internet, really actually do care about Dolph Ziggler. Because I don't care what you say, the guy doesn't look like a guy who should be in the main event. He looks like a mid-carder. With a guy like Ric Flair, you can maybe get a little bit more importance on him and maybe make him look a bit more like a main event, because he's associated with Ric Flair, who's a legend in the business. I'm just saying. But anyway, your overall thoughts on this edition of Smackdown this week?
Still not the best show. There was a few things that teases, like the feuds, matches that could happen at the pay-per-view, but they missed quite a few out that would have teased feuds more, especially with Sheamus and Del Rio, but I think it did its job in some cases, but not in a strong enough way.
Yeah, I mean, it was an okay show, but that's really all it was. I mean, the main event, you're having your Money in the Bank winner lose clean to Randy Orton. The Del Rio Sheamus feud wasn't really touched upon, so they didn't really touch each other this week, which I guess you could kind of see as a good thing, because we've seen them in a feud for such a long time now, and it's kind of getting a bit stale. Seeing Damien Sandow being put in a spot against Sheamus was a good thing, and there was a lot of filler on the show as well, like of Raw stuff, which just save that for Raw and make some, book some stuff on SmackDown. Like, they did some decent focus on feuds here, but again, it's just another one of those average SmackDown shows, which sometimes are just very hard to get into and really watch properly. Like, it's just what SmackDown is like right now.
Sad that's the case.
So give us your thoughts on SmackDown down in that comment section below down there. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the show. And now I will hand you over to the right and honourable NJ, who's going to give us a fantastically great outro.
Till next time, YouTubers. Goodbye.